So let us tell about your childhood little bit. How was it, and how all the creative process began?
Noor, first of all, my poetry is inspired by lived experience.
Yeah,
As you have asked me now, my childhood formed me into the person I am today.
yeah.
Growing up in Jerusalem as a Palestinian in a household, powerful household, I must say. My
Mm-hmm.
father was a political public figure. He worked very close with the late president, Yasser Arafat. So, can you imagine being born into a household where you see so much power in a place full of resilience, full of intellectual figures? My father was very powerful intellectually. My mother believed in justice, and she always stood side by side with women that needed help, and she always had so much empathy for others.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a child, watching both of them fighting for Palestinian freedom, I must say,
Right.
it inspired me. And I actually watched it happen
Mm.
through poetry. My father was and still is a poet.
Mm-hmm.
So I did see them use poetry and writing and art. And
Mm-hmm.
I must say, that's what I enjoyed also doing.
Right. Let us,
Writing.
as Shad, as you mentioned, your father also, involved with politics. He had, working with a great leader like Yasser Arafat. And so,
Yeah.
what connection do you find on your work?
Truth, honesty.
Mm.
My work is not only about myself, it's unity. It's about having a platform for others to share their feelings, to be able to voice their concern. I feel as I have mentioned to you, Noor, my work is all based on lived experience. So it's all based on um, wanting to not fit the mold.
Hmm.
It's not about going viral.
Right.
My work is about depth, is about the um, having a moment to
Hmm.
pause and just connect with
With the
with
people
yourself.
in your society or throughout the world.
Yes,
It's about
yes,
finding
this
the
is.
connection. So, when did you realize you can choose the poetry as a medium to convey your message?
I've realized it through pain.
Hmm.
It wasn't an easy realization, Noor. The way I discovered the connection, it wasn't by choice.
Right.
It was formed based on being oppressed
Right.
and having the platform, living in the UK is very easy, yeah, than
Easy
from
compared to
home.
Palestine.
Yes,
But
comparison to.
apart from your writing and your poetry, so when did you start writing? Is it when you grew up in Palestine? You have seen the challenges of your society, challenges of political issues.
To
How
be
do you
honest, yeah,
see life in Palestine and life here in UK?
huge difference. I mean, Palestinians don't have human rights.
Hmm.
Palestinians are not able to voice their concern. They don't have an actual identity
Hmm.
they can stand. And basically, they don't have um, support. Of course, there's a huge gap, the gap in which if you voice and use your voice and speak out against any injustices, there is huge consequences, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So no one is able to 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 speak.
Right. Give their voice,
Yes,
basically.
Yeah, they cannot use, for example, even through creative work, they cannot even share their creativity in a sense where you say this is poetry. We can express ourselves in a way where not we are not going to be harmed. You are not really protected.
Right. Would you, explain a little bit more how, if you express your own opinion, if you express your own creative ideas, how it can have an impact, or what consequences you can face, regarding if you express your own opinion, your own rights, your own creativity, how you need to face this in context of Palestine.
Basically, let's say I am in Palestine and I'm expressing how I feel or doing the things I'm doing here back home. I don't think I will get this far. I
Oh,
wouldn't. I've been doing this. So basically, just by post, a single post, most likely I'll go to prison. And then you have to consider not only yourself, you have to consider your family. You have to. So when you start to 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 voice and speak out, you have to understand the risks
right,
behind it.
right,
So you have a family that
right,
you are putting in danger.
right. So that can impact your family as well. So family could be face the consequences or risk factor.
Of course, yes, that's
Right.
true.
Okay. So when your actual writing began, is it from Palestine or when you moved to UK?
I will tell you something. As a Palestinian growing up
Yeah.
under occupation, I had a lot of identity crisis. It was really difficult growing up in household where my father fighting for the Palestinian cause. So I tried to avoid facing that. I didn't want to carry um, on my father's legacy, I must say. So I was avoiding it as much as I could. So during my studies, I moved to the UK at a very early age. I was 18 to pursue my career, my studies. So I started I always write. I always been writing, Noor. I don't think there was a moment where I couldn't sit down and it's a source of regulation for me. I find my peace
Right.
in my
So,
art.
what age did you move to UK?
18.
18, age of 18. Right. So
Yes.
before that, so you grew up to 18 years in Palestine. Could you explain, your age, children or teenager group, basically that age, isn't it? So that age group, what about their education? What about their finding their own voice? What about their
My children,
future and
you mean
education?
my children in the UK or children in Jerusalem, in Palestine, or
Children in Palestine. What consequences they face in terms of education, giving their own voice?
I mean, if you want to speak about specific, for example, if we look at Gaza, the situation in Gaza, there's no education, and they are due to the war and the genocide. But because back home there's East Jerusalem and there is West Bank. West Bank is a Palestinian territory. Education is always frail. Back home, education it's not the way it's treated in British system. It's not a priority for children, and it's not consistent. Growing up, you might, it's not very certain. It's very difficult to explain it, to go in depth
Right, right.
at the moment
What
because
is
there's so many layers.
right? What is the current situation? Is it settling down or still there are ongoing crises?
There is ongoing crisis. I think, and I know for a fact where my family are, it's always they are controlled under a government that doesn't recognize fully Palestinians living within the system, the Israeli system, there's still a lot of discrimination. So they don't have the privileges other Israeli citizens have. But if you want to look at what's happening in Gaza, that is just horrific, and they're still suffering, and there's a lack of everything at the moment. So I do not believe things will get any better any soon.
So what are the hope? Because if there is no hope to getting better or overcoming this situation, so I think it's going to be very devastating situation, isn't it? So what are the possible solution to this issue?
Noor, there's so many people still in Gaza. There's thousands, and unfortunately, many have died. They cannot lose hope. That's what they live and feed on. Hope is the source that they hope in Allah, hope in knowing that the world can see them. We don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, we don't know what's on the other side. If there, I do believe there will be justice. But at the same time, if we don't have hope, what else do they have? They have to, many people died. I just got contacted by someone on social media, said to me, I just lost a friend, he died, and said to me, I really need help with my rent. And many others reach out to me daily and beg me for help, begging me for some sort of support. And unfortunately, the whole world it's not unfortunate, it's fortunate and unfortunate, because there's a global solidarity, Noor. There is a global solidarity, but at the same time, our hands are tied.
Right.
It's a huge how can I put it that way?
Is that a purely political crisis? How do you classify? Is that a
political
pure
crisis?
Political crisis? And
It is
only
political.
politician has the ability or source to resolve, come to a solution, come to an end. Or is there any possible political negotiation they can bring the situation to an end?
Have you ever seen anything political resolve? Every political conflict just gets more complex.
More complex or worse by the time?
Yeah, I never, growing up seeing my father, a politician, I never had a very steady life, always ups and downs, and nothing is certain. The only thing that we are blessed at the moment is the whole world is standing side by side with us.
Right. Okay.
That's quite powerful, Noor. I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
And my father never seen this before, and many generations, before us, to be honest, I never expected to witness this. As much as I want to be hopeful and to say Palestinians deserve freedom, but it was so difficult to they broke us. The system tried their best to break us, even though we're resilient, but they put so much control in our life. I grew up believing silence will protect me. Silence is the way to get by as a Palestinian. Can you imagine just trying to put your head down and not to even at some places, it's really hard to explain, but there's some areas back home where it is not an Arab or Palestinian neighborhood. that you don't want to be found out that you are a Palestinian, and you worry that if you look Palestinian or someone else knows you're not, you are not Israeli. So there's days where my family are scared. It's not safe. It's not safe everywhere. It's very difficult.
So, what is the,
But
say, if we look at the solution to this situation, what is the current government are doing?
to be honest, it is very complex. Again, Noor, I think it's very political, and I try my best to stay away from politics, even though I am a humanitarian. You know, I like to stand side by side with the community. I speak for the Palestinians, but in details in regards to the government, I think it's really difficult for me to discuss that.
Right. Okay, we got your thoughts through your books, through your writing, especially you, as you mentioned, you are a humanitarian, and your poetry, Dove of Palestine, and few other poetry is also convey the same message. Let us go through your poetical journey. When did you started writing?
I started writing at a very young age.
Okay.
I started, I carried a diary with me everywhere I used to go. It was just it's like, I had this connection. My soul knew that I found myself in my poetry. I used to write stories, used to write songs. So I started very, very young. I do remember I used to maybe 4, 5. And 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 also, as we mentioned, I learned early that much of life happens in silence.
Right.
And that's how I found writing is the way to express yourself and to actually know everything you feel is valid, because you look back and you say, yes, that is true, and that's what I have lived.
Right. So, how did you find your poetry has a great connection in UK? Well, especially when you're doing live shows, we have seen you are doing live shows, stage performance, and your poetry appreciated by Poetry Society here. How did
Yes.
you find this journey?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I actually find the stage to connect me to many. Something about the stage that gives me so much strength and resilience. And it comes from the truth. When I stand and I start reciting my poetry, I feel like I am sharing my story, sharing to the world that I have died many times and I've seen hardships,
Right.
but I'm here.
Right.
And I'm here stronger and stronger. And a lot of people feel that. They feel that sincerity, that connection.
So, as a lot of people feel that connection, did you find any feedback from audience? They can understand or they can relate to your poetry?
They cry. They cry a lot. It's not that I want to share the pain and make them cry, but I don't, because it's from the heart. It's from my heart. And they seem to be very emotional.
And relate to your poetry or your writing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite poetry? You have written many, but what's your favorite if you
Yes.
have to choose one?
I have to choose one. Can I tell you the one, my favorite one is the one that scared me the most to write.
Or
It's hard.
scared, or which one create hopes?
The thing is, everything I write, Noor, it's not, I don't, it's not decided.
Hmm.
It's basically it's the poems that helped me live. When I write them at first, they scare me. And then they turn into hope because I turn my pain into resilience. And these are the ones that they were written without armor. Yes, I have poems about hope. I have poems about love, self-love. I have poems about the, Palestinians' plight.
Right.
But everything comes from pain. Because I look back and I'm sharing it on stage.
Yeah, it is.
And
It's. I think creative expression happens to every poet through their life experience. To be honest, it's
yes,
if we read the great poet, they write poetry from their own experience. But from
yes,
if you have to choose one that also convey the message, especially we have seen so many poetry from you. Palestinian Dove, I like it quite very much. But which one would you
yes.
like to recite few lines only, please?
I know a lot of people like my hope as day awakes.
Okay.
Would you like me to recite
Yeah, please.
for you? This is called Hope as Day Awakes. Hope in the sunshine as day awakes. Hope in the sunset as twilight takes. Hope in the waking of a brand new morn. Hope in the eyes of someone you adore. Hope in the loved ones as they lay buried in peace. Hope in the children running, playing after the seas. Hope in the world as solidarity rises. Hope in believing, united we go marching. Hope in humanity as voices awake. Hope in a future where love's embrace takes. Well, that's not all of it, but
No, that's brilliant. I think it has depth. It has so many great message. Do not lose hope, no matter what is the situation. Situation can change by the grace of Almighty. And we are very. This conversation can continue longer, but our time is very limited. So, at the end, what message or what hope you like to convey to the society, convey to our world?
that survival is not weakness. That softness is not surrender.
Right.
That telling the truth, especially when it is inconvenient, is a form of resistance.
Right.
And that healing, both personal and collective, begins when we listen to one another without fear.
That's great. Thank you so much, Shahd Karaeen. And it was, great experience, and hope to see you again in Rupali TV's Our World. Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Thank you, Noor.
Thank you.